All right, I'm sure we're not sure we're on air just yet. Check to make sure we are on the air, and we looks like we are live. Hey, welcome in, guys. You're here in the SeniorNichePreneurs.com, and I wanted to make a quick video. I have a, I'm gonna get right to the point. I know I see a lot of videos on YouTube where everybody just go rambling about all these different things, but as you can see, the topic of the subject of the video today is the XH2S. I have been a Fujifilm camera owner probably for about 2 years. I started out with the XT3. I actually had two XT3s, and when the XH2S came out here a few months ago, obviously I saw it, but I didn't really put a whole lot of stock into it until I got off into doing a gig here a few weeks back. It was an event that I did, and I was taking obviously a lot of shots that evening. And I'm thinking, you know, everything that I was shooting for the most part, I had single point autofocus or single point autofocus or whatever, and I was like snapping left and right, thinking everything I was doing was in focus because the little green box was showing that everything was lit up and everything was good. Well, to my surprise, when I get it home and put it on the big screen and I zoom in, and the first thing I'm checking obviously is seeing the sharpness of the eyes, and a lot of the shots were out of focus. So that really, really ticked me off. And I was actually thinking about going to a different camera brand at the time. And I was looking into Canon. I'd already had a Sony A7 III. So I was looking into Canon because I heard so much about Canon and the autofocus, this, that, and the other. So I was leaning toward maybe looking at either the R3 or the R5. And when I start thinking about it, I say, you know what? I've got these Fuji lenses. So let me go back and or backtrack and see what I can find out about this new XH2S. So the more I dug into it, the more I looked around, I saw, obviously watched a lot of videos on YouTube, different reviews, and the pluses and minuses of getting this camera. So after a long dissertation with myself and really thinking through the things that I already had in place and what I was doing as far as my lenses were concerned, and the flash that I had, and all of those things, I said, hey, okay, let's look at this a little deeper. So, long story short, as you can see, looking up at my monitor, this guy's here. Okay, I know you can't see let's see. You see that? Yeah, there it is. The Fujifilm XH2S. You can see that back there somewhere on there. Okay. And I've got it paired with my 90 because I was at an event today and I was out and I needed a long shot or whatever. But I typically have my brand new 33 millimeter 1.4. This is the, linear motors, the whole nine. So anyway, long story short, I got this guy in. I've had it for about 2-3 weeks. And this is not necessarily a review of this camera, but it's more so my first impressions of it now that I've got it in my hand. And I will tell you this, and I've heard a lot of people say that before you buy any type of gear, especially from an expense like this, you want to maybe rent it out, check it out for yourself to see if it's something that fits, into your workflow. So I rented it for a week. And I'm not going to give them a plug because obviously this video is not sponsored, but I rented it for a week. And I was like, wow, I was really, really impressed with the autofocus. I was really, really impressed with the speed of the camera. And I had, some of the older lenses that I've been had for a while, and they were working pretty good. They actually worked better. And the image to me from the XT3 to the XH2S was actually an improvement to me. It looked a lot better. And I think one of the main reasons, I believe, was because, for one, this guy here has IBIS. So it has that in-body stabilization that makes your shots more stable. Obviously, if it makes your shots more stable, it makes your pictures come in more focus. And obviously your image, to me, this is just my impression, the image was better to me. So anyway, I was really impressed with that. And I took it out, at my little local zoo, and we took some pictures of some of the, the birds and what have you out there. And it fared very, very well. And I was really impressed with it. So that was when I rented the camera. So I'm thinking, okay, I rented the camera for a week. How can I get this guy? And, my brain go to work, and, we always have this situation where we have this problem with gas, right? Gear acquisition syndrome. So I'm thinking, I've already got 2 XT3s. How can I get this camera? And so I was just thinking about things that I already had, kind of like maybe 2 of. I have a extreme ISO here, 8-channel mixer, which I had a 4-channel mixer as well, ATEM Mini Pro. So I was like, I had an ATEM Mini Pro and I had something else, and then the XT3. So I sold maybe 3 items to try to get enough money to get this guy. And fortunately enough, here it is a few weeks later. Obviously, I sold all the equipment that I had. It wasn't really enough to get it, but I kind of added a little of my own money to it to make it work. But anyway, I got it, and this is my first impressions of the camera. Obviously, it's a little bigger than the XT3. Obviously, the dials are not like the XT3, which to me, yeah, I hear some complaints about mapping the ISO to the command dial and all this stuff. I hear all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I'm the type of person, I guess I can just get adjusted to get used to it. I haven't used it again for about 3 weeks, so it may come into play later on. But for now, I like the grip. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. I like the large HDMI port, the way you don't have to use a little mini, because I had the mini on the XT3. Obviously, I don't do a whole lot of audio stuff and what have you. But it's got an audio jack and headphones and all that. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar to the XT3 for the most part. I mean, it's typical Fuji style. So my first impressions is I love the thing, man. It's been a joy to play with, to work with, and I'm looking forward to doing a number of shoots whether it concerns the events that I do, whether it's senior pictures that I do, portraits and what have you. I don't do a whole lot of what they call it. I don't do a whole lot of street photography. That's what I was looking for. I don't do a whole lot of that. And from time to time, I'm in a small city, so it's not a whole lot of, big time events that are going on downtown or what have you. You have a lot of people moving around. So I don't do that. So I just typically do senior portraits, things like that. I've been asked about doing a wedding or 2 or what have you. I may dig into that later on. I don't know. I just enjoy quality. I enjoy excellence. And when it comes to the films or when it comes to anything that you create, whether it's portraits or what have you, I enjoy things like that. So I wanted to be able to have one of the top of the line cameras in my hand. And I know that there is an XH2 that's out there with the 40 megapixel sensor, which is more geared towards the photography side of things. But for me, I was thinking, man, I know it's a little extra, $500, but I might as well get the best of the best. If they're going to put it out, going to put the stack sensor in it, going to have that faster readout, then why would I slow myself down? That was the other thing I was thinking. Okay, what good does it make me to have a 40 megapixel sensor when my pictures are not in focus? And I know that it's probably got the same autofocusing system for the most part, but speed seems like it should play a bigger role in it than anything else for me when it comes to autofocus and all. Now, I don't know how all this stuff works internally. That's not my cup of tea. I'm just a user. I like to see the results of what this equipment can do for me. Y'all can follow other people that go into all those specs and, put up, bricks and lines and all that and zoom in, checking pixels. I'm not into all that kind of stuff. It's just, what does it do for me? How does it work for me? That's all I care about. Now, I've had, this is my 3rd. Okay. I've had you see the little Canon up there? I got a little, well, you can't see it. My big head in the way. Little Canon camcorder. I've got the Blackmagic that I'm actually recording on right now. Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. And I've had the Sony A7 III, and I've had the Panasonic. Actually, I've got a Panasonic GH4. This is what I would call my front-facing camera that I'm not working with right now. I guess I could pop over there and show you right quick. That camera right there, that's a Panasonic GH4 that I'm working with as well on the front. And obviously I got another, another Blackmagic that sits back over here as well. So kind of like a 3 or 4 camera setup system. But I really fell, and be honest with you, I really fell in love with the Fuji colors. You know, having the Panasonic, having the Sony. Never really had the Canon per se, other than this camcorder. But when I saw the Fuji colors and I saw the film simulations that you can use with these cameras, I was like, that's the camera for me right there. That's it. So that's why I'm sort of kind of heavily invested into it. This is a 90 mil. I've got a 33 1.4. I've got a 23 1.4. I've got a 10 to 24 4.0, I believe it is. And I've got the cream of the crop Sigma 18 to 35 that I use with the I forget the name of the adapter. Viltrox adapter. Yeah, Viltrox adapter. And I have the 50 to 100 1.8. So I have all of the lens as far as the ranges go and what have you. And I'm just looking forward to digging into it more. I'll probably try to do a more in-depth review, maybe with some sample images and what have you. Because again, I just got it had it for 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't think does it justice just to start shooting and plastering stuff on the internet, you know, without giving it its fair shot, because I want to make sure it's represented right. So anyway, that's my little scoop for today. If you guys are into the XH2S or the XH2, give me your thoughts, give me your feedback, tell me what you think about it, what you like best about each one of them, pros, cons, what have you. Leave them in the comments. I'd be glad to look through and read what you guys talk about and what you guys got to say about it. I know there's some negativity around it a little bit for the most part, and maybe for good reason, but for me, I'm good with it. So till next time, Jerry Henderson, eachpreneurs.com. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye for now.